Unit Kidon, the secret arm of Mossad, which has made a lot of noise with its targeted assassinations in Iran and around the world. From Iran's nuclear scientists to bizarre operations in Argentina, Europe, and even the Middle East. Operations that you might have only seen in James Bond movies. Greetings to you. I am Elias Farouk here at Persian Trend, and in this video we want to talk about Kidon, one of the secret arms of Mossad that has carried out operations that are truly hard to believe. Mossad was established in 1949, but Kidon is an ultra-secretive division whose name means bayonet. In Hebrew, this group operates like a sharp sword in the shadows, and in this video, I'm going to tell you secrets that you probably haven't heard anywhere else. For instance, did you know that Mossad once kidnapped a Nazi criminal from Argentina and executed him? Or that in 2016 they tested 25,000 people for recruitment with a secret puzzle? In this video, I tried to use Persian, Arabic, English, and Hebrew sources, and that's why I've created a complete and almost unbelievable narrative for you. If you love espionage stories and covert operations, this video is for you. First, I want to tell you about the history of Kidon, its strange methods, and its operations in different countries. Before you continue watching the video, comment right now if you've ever heard of the Kidon unit, and tell us how you think a secret group can carry out so many operations around the world and always remain undetected. We're going to find the answer in this video. Mossad was established on December 13, 1949, with the idea of David Ben-Gurion, the first Prime Minister of Israel. Its initial name was the Central Institute for Coordination, and its goal was to coordinate security services like Aman, which is military intelligence, or Shin Bet, which is internal security, and the Israeli Political Intelligence Service. But what fewer people know is that from the very beginning, a secret unit named Kidon was formed within Mossad. According to the book Rise and Kill First by Mr. Bergman, Kidon was an elite team of fewer than 40 of the best Mossad agents, both men and women, who are trained for deadly and sensitive operations. Kidon's main activities began in the 1970s. After the Munich Olympics tragedy, where 11 Israeli athletes were killed by the Black September group. An interesting point is that Ben-Gurion, after this incident, ordered the creation of a hit list and sent Kidon after those responsible for the massacre. For example, as in Beirut, in 1979, they killed Ali Hassan Salameh, known as the Red Prince, with a bomb in his car. Yediot Aharonot says this operation was carried out by a secret network called Sayanim, Jews who voluntarily and without pay work for Mossad, with thousands of them active in the UK and the USA. Now, why did Iran become their target? Because Israel sees Iran's nuclear program as a major threat. Dagan, the head of Mossad between 2002 and 2011, had said in a secret meeting that if we eliminate the masterminds, their program will be crippled. Another secret is that Kidon had operations in Iraq before Iran. For example, in 1966, or during Operation Diamond, they helped an Iraqi pilot named Munir Redfa escape from Iraq with his family and took his MiG-21 to Israel. This aircraft was gifted by the Israelis to the Americans and was quite influential during the Cold War. You know, during the Cold War days, any information about the rival was extremely useful, especially regarding the advanced technologies of that time. Another interesting point is that in 2016, on Israel's Independence Day, Mossad placed a secret advertisement to recruit personnel for the cyber division. This advertisement was an encrypted puzzle that 25,000 people tried to solve, but only a few dozen succeeded and were eventually hired. Kidon reports directly to the Prime Minister, and even the Israeli Parliament, the Knesset, has no control over it. Mr. Bergman says this has turned Mossad into a kind of shadow government that reports to only one person. Now let's see how Kidon gets to work. One of their famous techniques is using sticky bombs and motorcycles. In Iran, the assassination of Masoud Ali Mohammadi in 2009 started with a motorcyclist who attached a bomb to his car, and a few seconds later, the car exploded. This method was also repeated in the assassinations of Majid Shahriari, Dariush Rezaieh-Najad, and Mostafa Ahmadi Roshan. An interesting secret about these assassinations is that these bombs use a special explosive material that leaves little chemical trace, and, according to a Time report, is activated with a precise timer in just 3 seconds to lose the agent's trail. This method has not been limited to Iran. In Damascus in 2008, Imad Mughniyeh, a Hezbollah leader, was killed by a bomb in Metsada in the cushion of his car seat. One thing you might not know is that this bomb was activated by a satellite signal from a secret base, and Kidon used a cyanim team to help plant it. Spiegel says this operation was coordinated with the CIA, and a Katsas team, which are Mossad field officers, monitored the target from Lebanon to Syria. And this shows how Kidon uses technology and its covert networks. For those who don't know, Cyanim are covert Jews living in various countries, and people might not even know they are Jewish or that they are collaborating with Israel. For example, imagine that in Britain, there are thousands of these people living their daily lives, but whenever necessary, Mossad can use them to advance its operations. For instance, if a Mossad agent is supposed to carry out an operation in Britain and needs to rent a car to follow a target, conduct surveillance, or assassinate someone, they use these cyanim to rent a car for him without recording his information. This way, the agent's trail is lost. Or if, for example, a cyan works in a hotel and they need to eavesdrop on someone or conduct espionage, that cyan can voluntarily do this for Mossad. It is said that Mossad had a smaller budget compared to the CIA or KGB, but by using these cyanim, it formed a large network of volunteer Jews who could greatly assist in operations. And with this network, it carried out operations that even the CIA couldn't accomplish. Rest assured, there are such cyanim in Iran as well, because in the past, Iran had a large number of Jews who were forced to change their religion. But they still adhere to Jewish ideals and love Israel. And they might assist Israelis in certain operations. Of course, aside from those who are interested in Israeli money or the facilities that Mossad provides, and they might even be Muslims or affiliated with Hezbollah, yet play a significant role in Mossad operations, another very interesting method is robotic weapons. In the assassination of Mohsen Fakhrizadeh in 1999, a 1-ton automatic machine gun with a camera and satellite fired 13 bullets and then destroyed itself. One of the strange details of this assassination is that this weapon was brought in a van and was controlled from 10 kilometers away by an operator in another country. It was rumored that in the assassination of Mr. Mahmoud al-Mabhouh in Dubai in 2010, an electric shock device was used in his hotel, where he had locked the door from the inside, but no evidence was found. The police only found a DNA and a fingerprint, but these clues led nowhere. A less well-known method is the use of unusual poisons. For example, in 1978, Kidon killed Wadi Haddad, one of the leaders of the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, with a poisoned chocolate in East Germany. This poison was such that it took several months for Haddad to die, and no one knew who was responsible. Let's move on to the Kidon operations in Iran. Between the years 2009 to 2011, 4 nuclear scientists, Mr. Masoud Ali Mohammadi, Majid Shahriari, Dariush Rezaieh-Najad, and Mostafa Ahmadi Roshan, were killed by sticky bombs or shooting. Feridun Abbasi also survived an assassination attempt. The assassination of Mohsen Fakhrizadeh in 2020 with that robotic machine gun was the pinnacle of Kidon's work. Al-Quds Al-Arabi says this operation had 8 months of planning and was coordinated by a 20-member team across several countries. A strange secret is that Ahmadinejad said in 2024 that since 2003, a Mossad spy had been in Fakhrizadeh's team, providing information to the Israelis. Now let's move on to a disaster in Norway. In 1973, Kidon was after Ali Hassan Salameh, one of the leaders of Black September, but mistakenly planted a Moroccan waiter named Ahmed Bouchiki. An interesting point is that the agents used fake Canadian passports, and after 6 of them were arrested, Israel was forced to pay compensation. This incident caused Kidon to become inactive in Europe for a while, and after reviewing their methods, They returned to Europe with new strategies to continue their operations. And the next point is that it shows even Kidon or even Mossad can sometimes make foolish mistakes that become a subject of embarrassment for them. It's not like we can say only certain intelligence services create subjects and do foolish things. Mistakes can occur in all intelligence organizations around the world, including Mossad, and some of them might even be a bit amusing. In Jordan in 1997, Kidon tried to assassinate Khaled Mashal, the leader of Hamas, by poisoning him in the ear. The Israelis had hidden the poison in a device resembling a pen, but the operation was exposed and 2 of their agents were arrested. One interesting detail about this operation is that the poison used a substance called levofentanyl, which is not lethal for up to 48 hours, but after 48 hours, it kills the person who has been contaminated. Since Mashal survived, Netanyahu was forced to send the king on a special flight and even release Sheikh Ahmed Yassin as compensation. The Israeli newspaper Haaretz says this failure led Kidon to rely more on technology in Iran rather than field agents. Another historic operation took place in Argentina. In 1960, as Kidon tracked down Adolf Eichmann, a Nazi criminal. He's in Buenos Aires. A 5-member team using espionage and a safe house took him by plane to Israel and executed him. An odd point is that Argentina considered this an infringement of its sovereignty, and the United Nations also expressed concern. But Israel responded. Eichmann had to be brought to justice. This operation showed that Kidon recognizes no boundaries in achieving its goals and can operate even in other continents. The assassinations in Iran caused a significant stir. Iran has always accused Mossad and promised revenge after the assassination of Fakhrizadeh. But well, nothing has happened yet. I want to mention a very strange point from Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, the former president of Iran. In 2024, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad told CNN Turk that we have established a special unit to combat Mossad, to identify, arrest, and even assassinate Mossad agents in Iran. But to our great surprise, sometime later we found out that the head of this very anti-Mossad service was himself a Mossad agent, which led to numerous operations being carried out in Iran and even exposed. Besides that poor guy who was the head of this section and got exposed, 20 other people were also identified who were collaborating with Mossad in various critical and sensitive parts of the system. And all of these formed a network that provided massive and invaluable information to the Israelis. In my opinion, besides the networks that have been discovered, there are many other networks inside Iran that are still revealing Iran's secret information to the Israelis. Does anyone doubt this? If you have doubts, well, write it down so we can discuss it together. Besides Iran, Kidon has also conducted operations in other countries. For example, in Norway, the 1973 disaster led the Norwegian government to file an official complaint, and Mossad had to pay compensation. Of course, the amount was never disclosed. In Jordan, the failed assassination of Mashal damaged diplomatic relations. And one secret is that the king arrived in Amman in 2 hours on a private jet to ensure Mashal stayed alive. BBC Persian says these mistakes taught Kidon to operate more covertly in Iran. For example, using robotic weapons that leave no trace of the agents and only leave behind an explosion with burnt remnants. The bigger consequence is that Kidon has initiated a cycle of violence. In Iran, the arrests with forced confessions were fruitless, and the Ministry of Intelligence couldn't find Kidon's real trail. In Lebanon, the assassination of Mughniyeh led Hezbollah to create bombs similar to Kidon's. And even in 2024, they launched a Qadr-1 missile towards the Mossad headquarters in Tel Aviv. An interesting point is that in 2018, Kidon stole 100,000 nuclear documents from a secret warehouse in Tehran and gave them to the US and Europe to increase the pressure, an operation that Netanyahu personally praised. Another effect is that countries increased their security after these assassinations, but still couldn't stop Kidon. For example, in Dubai, they found the agent's DNA and fingerprints, but since they used 26 fake British, Irish, and Australian passports, this information led nowhere. Another secret is that in 2017, Kidon launched an investment fund for cyber technology and now supports companies that no one knows the names of. In this video, I tried to provide you with information that you probably hadn't heard before. From operations in Iran, Norway, the UAE, Jordan, or other places around the world, Kidon has shown that it can pierce the heart of its opponents like a bayonet. But practically, it doesn't mean that if they eliminate someone, those plans will be stopped. Do you think that so far Kidon has succeeded in eliminating Israel's enemies and ensuring security for Israel? Or has it only escalated the cycle of violence while the hostilities persist? I'm Elias Farkham. This is The Oldest One. I read all your comments and respond to them as much as possible. Until the next video, goodbye.